Good morning. How's everybody? We've got outstanding weather. Amy's in charge of the weather, if nothing else, right? But thank you so much for joining us today. As always, for our United Way kickoff, we usually like to give you just a little bit of information about what's going on in the county, an update. As I travel around the campus, as I travel throughout the community, people are always asking me, well, what's going on? How are things? 9 times out of 10, you give them that answer that they always want to hear. Oh, things are fine, and you just keep moving. But today I'm going to go a little more in depth beyond things are just fine, because things are picking up, and there is some good news. And I certainly want to share this with all of you today. So we're going to start off in true fashion. Being my finance background, I'm going to start with some of our financial data, because I think that does kind of set the stage for where we're going to end the conversation today. Single-family housing, it's doing much, much better. Those of you that are in the community development agencies that see the building permits and the other things as they flow through, you do see that this past year we ended with 511 new building permits, much stronger than you can tell back during the recessionary years. So people are re-engaging in building brand new houses. Very positive for us. In addition to not only more houses, we also have higher price houses that are being built. So again, another very positive sign for our local economy and for the people here in Hanover. So good news. What else is going on? Registrations for vehicles. So people are buying cars as well. Again, you can see from this chart a 14% increase in the last year. You can only fix that car just so long before you're spending good money after bad. And I think a lot of people have concluded that, and as you can see, again, a very, very positive trend for the Hanover County, and we expect both of these trends, both real estate and the vehicle registrations, to continue to go up next year. Nobody's telling us anything different at this point. Sales tax. Well, we all know as we go to the grocery store and to the clothing stores and so forth, inflation is creeping back into our lives. So part of this increase here is the inflation we're seeing at the grocery store and so forth, but we're also seeing people investing a few more dollars here in Hanover County. And we've got some pictures here in just a minute of some of the places that they are spending it. But again, you can see from the stair steps, very positive news. At the depths of the recession, that green bar, things had dropped a long ways, as you could tell from the purple on the far left there. But last year, 4.5% increase in sales tax. And again, so very, very positive news and a reason to be very optimistic. I mentioned that we would talk a little bit about some of the places people can spend their money and are spending their money. So I'll just touch on just a few of these. This is over on Lewistown Road next to Winding Brook. There's another shops being built. I think there's one on the, I guess I would call it the left-hand side as you go in. Shops 1. This is going to be Shops 2. So not as big as what we had originally hoped, but we are seeing, again, commercial activity. There are going to be some other fast food restaurants that are going to be right beside this as well that have announced in that same location. I'll go ahead and tell you now, because I'm sure the question will come up. I don't have any new information on the outlet mall. They have put a sign up. It says the future home of the outlet mall. I wish it said coming soon. I'm not sure what it takes to get coming soon added to the sign. The timeline that I'm being told is 2015. So it's not this next year, not 14, which is just around the corner. 2015. If I find out anything different from that, I will certainly share it with you. But it won't be anything that we will have to consider for our next year's budget deliberations and anything that can give that huge big kickstart that we're all looking forward for our local economy. But 2015 will be here before we know it. And I know everybody wants to go to the outlet malls and shop. Well, maybe not everybody, but hopefully some of it. The boys still have Bass Pro just down the street if you don't want to go to the outlet mall. So we've balanced it out just a little bit. Many of you ride up and down 301. Hopefully you've seen the new construction for the new emergency center there. That's an HCA facility that's being built in a 24/7 emergency center. So if you do have a need for those kind of services, this will be very, very convenient. We still have Bon Secours doing an outstanding job just down the street, so we're going to have 2 incredible opportunities now in the healthcare market. Both very, very strong players, and we're excited that both are doing well, quite frankly. We get a briefing about twice a year from Bon Secours, and they continue to outperform year after year and have been noted again as one of the top performing hospitals, not only in Virginia, but even in the nation in certain specialties. So lots of good things going on the 301 corridor. Right beside it, again, not quite as dynamic a project, but for those of you that do have smaller kids, there's a daycare center being built. I believe it's Miniland. So again, more new construction right there on the 301 corridor for us that's going to help us all going forward. Over in Mechanicsville, if you have that as part of your drive schedule, you've maybe seen this picture here. This is of Covenant Woods. This Covenant Woods is going to double the number of folks that could live there out of Phase 1, and this facility is going to be a $78 million addition over there, so a very, very substantial increase over there. There's an article, I think, in today's paper about the aging of Chesterfield. If you looked at the statistics in there, while Chesterfield did seem to be the community here in Central Virginia that took the prize for aging the fastest. I'm not sure how they're aging any faster than the rest of us, but they calculated it somehow or another. We were second only to Chesterfield in that statistic there. So another reason for this kind of facility to be built in Hanover, and I'm sure it will be probably full by the time they open it. But new construction, which is always good for us. That's the key here. In Ashland, again. This project you've probably heard about, but that's the Vitamin Shop. It has been completed and has a CEO, and they've undertaken substantial hiring. They're having job fairs and so forth. And I have not been told that they're shipping out of there yet. If anybody in here knows different, please share that with me. But I think soon they will be shipping out of there. This will be their distribution headquarters, but they've also told us this is where they want to launch their internet sales headquarters as well. So good news right there in Ashland as well. All of this, I think, is very positive for us. We've been, hunkering down, trying to survive the recession, and all of this news, I think, is giving us some reason for optimism. At least it's given me reason for optimism that's been tough to come by for the last couple of years, quite frankly. Shifting gears now, if you work here on the complex or you're going to be visiting on October the 17th, 18th, or 21st, you're likely to see anywhere from 75 to 100 8th graders walking around here. So if you don't need to come on those days, you can consider that as well. The Stonewall Jackson Civics class has asked us to put on a presentation on how local government works. And so there's about 200 of these guys, or 400, which is it? Is it 400, Frank?
About 400.
400 of these guys, okay. About 400 8th graders at that middle school that will be coming up and sitting with us over the course of these 3 days. The chairman of the Board of Supervisors will be briefing them for a period of time. We're going to maybe try to let them have an election, create their own board members, and somebody will even get designated as the student county administrator, so that'll be fun, that I get to work with. And so we're going to have a mock board meeting here for just a short period of time, and then we're going to rotate these kids around through the complex. They're going to go find out about our public safety group and meet with fire, EMS, sheriff. They're going to come down and look at the communications building. That's one of our better show and tell kind of opportunities, but we can keep them behind the glass, so we have a little bit of control in that regard. We're going to take them over to the historic courthouse and let them get a feel for Hanover's history, the fabric of really what happened here, and talk with the judges, Commonwealth Attorney, and our judiciary. So exciting times, I think, for the middle school class, but you should be aware that for most of the day on the 17th, 18th, and 21st, there will be a certain buzz around here that we don't normally have with 100 or so middle schoolers on each one of those days sharing with us. Certainly, if you see them, speak to them, give them a smile, and let them know, how much we're excited that they want to know how we work up here. There are questions on the SOL, so it's not just a field trip. They're supposed to learn a little something while they're here so they can go back and perform well on the SOL. Well, as you know, each year I try to be very realistic with you, but also try to be straightforward and tell you about the thing that I think most all of us are very interested in. What does next year look like from a compensation and a benefits standpoint? And that's the reason I did try to start with what I think are the positive news indicators of the new construction and so forth. To put it very simply, very bluntly, my number one priority in next year's budget is to make sure that our employees receive some type of compensation increase. I can't today tell you, like I normally can't this time of year, what that might be, but it is our highest priority. I've discussed this with the Board of Supervisors, I've discussed it with the Superintendent of Schools, and I think we all collectively agree that you guys, as well as your school counterparts and so forth, we have shouldered our fair share of the recession. So now we're out of the recession. We're coming back. It's time to have some recognition for all of you that have been asked to do more work, are doing more work, and again, we've got few of us, a lot fewer of us around than we did when we started this thing. Our workforce has gone down 10%. And again, I'm telling you things that most of you already know, that we're 10% lighter than we were back in 2008. Many of our workloads have not decreased. I go over and I talk to the folks in Department of Social Services in particular. Their workload has done nothing but increase. Their workload is probably up 25% since that particular point in time. Others has fluctuated, some up, some down, but everybody has been part of a great effort for all of us to shoulder, I think, the fair share from the employee standpoint to the recession and to our citizens. So, with that, I'm going to conclude my remarks. I have asked in years past if there were any questions. I get a lot of stares. Nobody wants to raise their hand in this environment, and I completely understand. I wouldn't want to raise my hand either in this environment. I'm going to be out back with you, probably eating a piece of pizza, so if you do have a question, catch me back there, send me an email, do whatever you need to do to find me, get in touch with me. I do want to continue the dialogue with anybody that has a question about what's going on or anything I could shed light on that you might have a question in reference. So thanks so very much for everything you do every day for not only the local government administrators here, the senior staff, but for the citizens. We don't do these jobs, I think, is a fair thing, because we're going to be the highest paid. We don't get stock options. We don't have Christmas bonuses. We hopefully get paid a fair salary, which is part of the key here. But I think most of us are in this business because we really like serving our neighbors. We like helping people, and that's part of why you work in local government. Certainly is from my perspective. So. Again, one more time, I want to thank you for what you've done, not only this past year, but what you've done throughout the entire recession. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Amy.